There are old laws in America, often called blue laws, that make you scratch your head. In Alabama, you can't play dominoes on Sundays. In Kansas, you can't shoot rabbits from motorboats. These and thousands of other laws exist to protect society against anarchy. And while it may take years to get a law passed, it can take even longer to get a law repealed. We'll talk with a local attorney who has written a book that explains the ins and outs of our legal system. All this and more today on Time. Good morning, I'm Kai Jackson and welcome to On Time. There are thousands of laws that impact our lives every day, and yet most of us don't have a clear understanding of how the legal system works. Well, now a new book, Understanding the Law, a primer by local attorney Charles Ware, aims to educate and empower readers with an insight into the legal system. Thank you for joining us, Mr. Ware. How are you?
Well, thank you very much. It's good to be here. Appreciate it.
Talk about the word blue laws. What does that mean?
Well, the blue laws are laws that were written in blue ink years ago in the old days. And they were written in blue to sort of counteract regular laws because they were laws allegedly for social morality and religion, which is the normal base. So they usually were laws that were sort of written in because people were repulsed for social and religious reasons for certain things going on. So they wrote them in blue ink in the legislature.
And in many states, and I'm sure Maryland is included in the mix.
That's right.
Some of these laws are still very much in place.
That's exactly right.
Give us any laws off the top of your head from Maryland that people might be surprised are still in place.
Well, in Maryland, for example, there's a law in the book that you still have to engage in sex in the missionary position.
Interesting. And how would that
that's
be?
A lot of states have that.
How would that be enforced, Mr. Ware?
Well, yeah, that's right. It's another one. You know, there's also a law in Maryland that adultery is punishable by a $15 fine as well. That's still in the book.
That's interesting.
Yes.
Although what you're saying is, in reality, many of these laws aren't necessarily enforced today.
Absolutely. These laws are antiquated laws, but our country, which allegedly is a nation of laws and founded on that, is not good about removing antiquated laws. We're very good at making new laws, over 2 million of them a year at local, state, and federal level.
What prompted you to write this book?
I wrote the book mainly because over the years I've had so many clients and the public who've come to me and asked the same questions over and over. And so I said, well, let me start putting some of this stuff in writing. And frequently clients will come in and ask the questions, and I'll give them the book. And I'll say, you know, just take a look at this in your read chapter 8 or something. Because there are certain fundamental things that don't change and that clients want answers to.
I want to share with our listeners and our viewers, you are the attorney. One of your most notable cases in this state was the representation of a young man named Terrence Johnson.
Yes,
who,
Terrence.
Back in the 70s, shot and killed 2 Prince George's County police officers. A lot of controversy surrounding that. But out of that, from your experience, what did you learn from that case? And we should point out, he eventually was released, later got involved in criminal activity again and ended up, was it taking his own life? Yeah,
that's right. He was released. He came into my law practice as a paralegal. He lived with me for a year. I sent him to law school. The thing is, Terrence went to jail. He was a juvenile who went to a major prison at age 15. After he got in there, he was a small kid. Right. And prison doesn't make you better. It really makes you worse.
A more hardened criminal, some people say.
That's exactly right. The rehabilitation is not. We warehouse people. When he came out, he didn't have. We had set up psychiatric services and social services that he didn't avail themselves of, and you cannot make up for lost time. And so he lost his way, and he ended up committing suicide.
And I would ask you, this was painful for you, both professionally and personally, was it not?
It was a major setback to me, personal, professional, because he was like a son. Yeah. When he came out, his real father, and I are still good friends. Yeah. But yeah, it was a major blow to me, and for years I never took another criminal case after that. And I never got anybody out of jail, although I get these letters all the time. I'm back now, but it was a major blow for me, both personal and professional. You're absolutely correct.
As we move on talking about the book, Attorney Ware, does this book replace an attorney in a sense by me having this and having knowledge of it, or is it giving any specific advice?
No, absolutely not. The book has a lot of advice, but I always advise people when you want specific answers to specific questions, contact a lawyer, a qualified lawyer in the area, same as you would with your doctor. So I caution everybody. The book is humorous. It's extremely helpful. It's a fun book to read. There's a lot of good information, but it is not a substitute for getting competent professional assistance.
You should always have a good lawyer. You use humor to kind of point out stories. Give us an example of one of your favorite funny laws. And by the way, we should point out, you're from Alabama yourself originally.
I'm from Alabama, and I have a personal case where I was in Prince George's County in a case, and I was prepping this client then the night before, and I kept going over and over things and not telling them what to say, but you know, this, and the next day I asked him a question, and the question was out of left field on me, and I said, well, why did you say that? And he said, well, that's what you told me to say last night. Judge laughed.
During court?
Yes, right, in court.
Oh, wow.
The judge had a ball because the judge understood how it worked. The judge knew I didn't tell him to say.
That's the process, though, basically.
That's right.
It's coaching, but he's supposed to be telling you whatever in his own words,
right? And there are a lot of other stories.
Can I ask you, did you win or lose that case?
I won the case. The facts are pretty straightforward, but that was embarrassing. But there are a lot of stories. So they're in the book like that because there are a lot of funny things that happen in court.
Right. But what is one mistake people make in considering the law? I've often had friends who've gone to law school, and the first thing they tell me is you look at the world in the United States completely different after you go to law school, because what you believe is right and wrong oftentimes really has nothing to do with the law and the way the law is spelled out. Is that correct?
That is absolutely right. And that goes back to the fundamental premise I have, is that the law is not so much about right or wrong or the social issues or justice. It's about order. Yes. Every country that has laws, from the very beginning, the law is all about avoiding anarchy.
And the United States is often known as a country with the rule of law.
That's
the rule
exactly
of law
right.
is the way of the land.
It's to maintain order. It's about anarchy, because we don't have kings or queens or any royalty of that type. Our laws are what we use to make those kinds of decisions for us.
Absolutely. Now, I would imagine there's a good thing to that, because in the days of the monarchy, you can get your head cut off. So
that's exactly right.
Maybe that we're a country with the rule of law, that's probably a good thing.
That's right. And when Shakespeare made his statement about the first thing we need to do is
get rid of all the lawyers?
All lawyers, he was really attacking the monarchy in England.
Really?
That's what it was, and because he was saying that, you know, if you really want the people to speak, you need lawyers to do it, because the monarchy was running things, and he couldn't say attack the monarchy because his head would have been off. Quickly
before we go, how would you though address the criticism that we are far too litigious in the United States, and that, and you're familiar with this, that for instance the Trial Lawyers Association is one of the most powerful lobbies in America?
All right. I am a member of the Trial Lawyers Association, and we are far too litigious in our society. And the reason is because people nowadays use a lawsuit as a substitute for basic communication. A handshake doesn't mean anything, and so we do need to communicate more and rely less on lawsuits. I agree.
I like that. Attorney Charles Ware, thank you so much. I appreciate it. Just good Southern common sense. Must be from Alabama, right?
That's right. Thank you.
We appreciate it. For more information on Mr. Ware's book, Understanding the Law, a primer, call his office at 410-720-6129 or go to his website, which is charlesjeromeware.com.
I did